Good morning, everyone. What I'm going to start doing is making some videos going through some free response questions. Now, AP is no longer, as you can see on the screen in front of us, this is last year's exam. They are not doing an hour and a half exam. What you will have the option to do is a 45-minute exam, just like what we're about to go through. I think it's only going to have 3 questions. I've not been told. And then you'll have the option to take it and get some possible credit or college credit for it. This is what we were going to do all throughout April in person. I'll start making videos of it. So let's move along. So here was the first question in last year's AP exam. And the way they show this, and we were building towards this right before we had to leave school, was how to make a class and use objects. Although they're not going to use the objects, they're going to build a class here. And this says the AP class contains methods to calculate information about a calendar, and you'll get to write 2 of the methods. So the last part there, this is what you'll actually be doing. You'll be writing 2 methods. Now I'm going to read through this, and you should look through it, and it's a gray highlighted, and inside of it's actually some important information. So the gray highlighted first one here, it's private static boolean is leap year. So the Boolean there, remember, tells you if it returns a true or false. And is leap year, so you send over a year in the parentheses, the parameter, and it returns whether the year is a leap year or not. Now what it says right here is implementation not shown. That means it doesn't show you how this is done. You don't have to do it. You just know it works. Now the second part, right here, public static int number of leap years, and inside the parentheses, the parameters, there's 2 variables, year 1 and year 2. And for this, you're going to count the number of leap years in between and including year 1 and year 2. And notice it says right here, to be implemented in part A. That means you're going to have to do this as part A. So I'm trying to show you how to read through this as the AP exam. Then there's another private method here, an int, so it's going to return an int, and it's going to return the first day of the year, and the implementation is not shown. So that means you just get to use this. You don't know how it works. You don't have to build it, but you could use it. It'll figure out the first day of the year, whereas Sunday is 0, Monday is 1, all the way up to Saturday being 6. Then you have another method here, day of year. This tells you the January 1st, that's the first day of the year. If you put in there March 12th, it would tell you that that's the 71st day of the year. Again, this is, you don't know how to do this. You don't have to make this, I should say. You don't have to know why or how this works, but you get to use it. That means implementation not shown. And then finally, there's a day of the week. So you get to put in a month, a day, and a year in the parameters. And then it says implementation in part B. That means you're going to create this. You're going to handwrite this in part B. So let's do the first 2 methods, the only 2 methods. So here, in criterion, in part A, it says write a method, number of leap years. And they always give you the method heading or the class heading atop. So what this has to do is it returns the number of leap years between 2 years. And then that's it. That's all it does. So first we'll start off, we'll make a variable, int, and I'll just say years, equals 0. That's how many, that's going to count the number of leap years. So I initially want to make it 0. Then I want to make a for loop. I want to loop through the years. Remember, I'm getting sent 2 years right here in the parameter. I want to start at the first year and go all the way up to the second year, checking if they're leap years. Int k equals year 1, k less than or equal to, because it's allowed to equal year 2, and then k plus plus. And now the next part. This is inside the for loop. And this is going to check if the year from year one, then whatever's between year one and year two, it's going to check if those are leap years. And the way we're going to do that is you're going to use the method that they made for you. Remember, they even state it right here. There's a method right here. Is leap year. You get to use this. This is like math.random. You don't know how it works, but you get to use it. So let me do this. If is year, so this is inside the for loop, you have an if statement. And you're checking each one of these years, which is the variable k. So that's year one and everything in between up to and including year two. If that equals true, then years equals years plus 1. So for every year it finds a leap year, it's just going to add 1 to that variable years. And then finally, when it's done with this for loop, because it's not a void method, because it's an int method right there, we have to return an int. And the int we're going to return is years. And that would be the end of this. This was I believe, 5-point question. You would add 5 of the first 9 points. Part B will be where the other 4 points come. I'll make a second video in a second, and that will show you how to do Part B.